The CEO of Rolex, he called me up and he said he wants to try a Microlino. I said, you have one tomorrow, of course. If this guy calls, you make everything possible. So we gave him one in Geneva. And about 10 days later, I got an order of 3 dark green Microlino. So I called him up. I said, well, it's fantastic. Thank you very much. We can make any special colors for you. I said, no, this guy. Gets close enough to our company color. And I asked him, may I ask you, why do you buy these 3 cars? I said, we cannot just talk about having a CO2 reduction in the company as a vision. We also have to show it in our management team. So this is for our management team to use it when they go from the headquarters to the factory, because this is a short distance. And I don't want them to go with their SUV. I want them to use the small cars. So he was the first customer that had a small fleet, only 3, but at least 3 is already a fleet. And so this is, and now we are hoping, of course, more and more companies are putting a couple of Microlinos into their fleet. Not only to talk about we are CO2 neutral in 2030. No, what are you doing? Because if there's huge combustion SUV standing in front of the direct parking space. If I can tell you another funny story, when we first started to sell, we only sold our Microlinos in Switzerland. And so my youngest son, Merny, he got a call from somebody from Italy and he wanted to buy a Microlino. And my son was stubborn because he said, no, we are not selling in Italy because we first want to build up the market and do our learning for the service, everything. So he was getting very pushy, this Italian guy. And at the end, he was asking, at least do you want to know for who this car would have been? And he said, yeah, you can tell me. And he said, it's for the CEO of Gucci. And my son said, sorry, which color did you? I didn't get which color did you want? Of course, we immediately organized to give him a car because it was a present from the holding is carrying to the CEO to his 60th birthday. So it's also a funny story. It's like approved by the fashion gods of Italy.